honored if you would join us.
Dad?
Groovy.
This is Video Store Clerks. Welcome to the store.
Hello, hello, hello. It is a Monday night at 10 p.m. We switched it up because we were trying to get this episode a fair shake, so we weren't going to get cursed on doing it on Tuesdays. But I am Chad Gina Mang.
I am Mangina Mike. And don't be confused, because a lot of people out there on Reddit try to say that it's Mangina. It's Mangina.
I'm Chuck Nasty.
We are your Video Store Clerks. Woo! How you guys doing this evening? Doing all right? Yeah?
Fantastic.
That's what I like to hear.
I feel like something's missing, though.
Yeah, there is no Dave. As you all know,
Dave's not here, man.
For real. Like last week, we had to take a week off because we had a surprise meeting. Turns out Dave had to go on a business trip. Said it'd be about a week or so. Might take a little longer. Who knows? But hopefully he comes back soon, because I don't like doing this show by myself. I feel awful.
Well, you're not by yourself.
Well, I'm just used to having my buddy beside me, but
yeah, I understand that.
Buddy.
It ain't happening today. But first, we're going to start out the show as we usually do with the news.
Someone call 911.
Reporter Mike Kravesick has more from World's Fair Park.
Well, Janie Kristen, with triple digits expected tomorrow, we may see scenes even more like this. People trying to beat the heat and trying to stay cool. And tomorrow, and people.
All right, it's all right.
It'll be all right, buddy. We'll get through this.
We all got to start somewhere.
I love where he finds these clips.
Oh shit.
Like every other week, we're going to start out with the box office top 10 movies this week. This weekend, number 10 is Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, got re-released. This past weekend, it made $633,000, putting its total all the way up to $319 million. I couldn't do another 4-hour trip in the theater for that movie.
That's how bad it is, man. That fucking re-releases are doing better than a lot of the other shit out there.
Right.
Man, what the fuck?
I didn't make it to the first one, like originally came out, so I'm not gonna even.
I've seen the first 3 in theaters, and it was a long theater ride.
Was it a good nap?
I don't remember, man. That was a long time ago.
Would have been for me.
Number 9, we still got Strangers, Chapter 1. This weekend did $760,000. The last 5 weeks, it's pulled in $34 million.
Have you all seen that one yet?
I have not.
I
did rewatch the original one, and I am not impressed after rewatching it again.
I love the original.
I just forgot how much I don't like Liv Tyler.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I love that one because it's like, Sarah, you girls are not going to be doing this. It's back and forth crap. I already see it happening.
What's going on here?
I don't know.
Even, but no, I
Our
always
show has now became a chat room.
Right here.
Yeah, you go.
Anyway, no, I love the original Strangers because the suspense of it. It's not just.
I mean, it was different for the time, but like, I don't know. Like, she just annoys me. The only thing I liked her in was Empire Records. I mean, even though we just talked about Lord of the Rings.
Right. But like the second one, it killed everything that made the first one so good. It was just like a straight up slasher film. But this one, I mean, it pretty much goes right back to, it's kind of like a retelling of the original in a lot of ways. Wasn't horrible. wasn't anything great either, but it was entertaining. I'm curious about the other two that are coming because it'll be totally different and it won't be anything like the original. So curious what they do with that.
I don't know. I'm not a fan of the franchise. We've talked about this.
Yeah, the second
I'm a fan of the first one.
I remember liking the first one. Going after I went back and watched it, I was like, "Fuck, this is boring."
Man, I don't know.
But then I saw Glenn Howard in it, and I was like, "All right, that's cool." But then he's only in it for like 5 minutes.
If like a group of fucking idiots show up in masks outside my house, they're getting fucked up. That's all.
Well, yeah, that was the whole point, though. I mean, that was one of the things about the movie was like there was a whole lot of truths that were being told between this couple, and they were having to like discover a lot of things in a really grueling situation. Like always, him talking about like I guess he acted like he knew how to use a gun, and then when he goes to get the shotgun and stuff, he's very very almost clueless on how to even use the damn thing. But like again, it wasn't a slasher film. A lot of people think it is, but I mean, I think that the acting was good.
Psychological thriller.
The psychological aspect of it is what I enjoyed about it. It's not for everybody, but it's one of my favorite movies. So
sounds like justifiable homicide to me. Show up on my property and get fucked up.
Yeah, but they make it kind of difficult for him.
Said your next is better.
I mean, it's the whole point. Your next sucked. I'm sorry, but I hated that fucking movie. I hated that fucking movie. The last 20 minutes of that movie made me really hate it. I hated the fucking ending.
Fan either. Anyway, going back to the countdown.
You're
number 8.
You're next. Didn't that have Bill Goldberg in it?
Oh, yeah. Even worse.
No, it didn't.
Number 8, The Fall Guy. This weekend it did 1.5 mil, bringing its 7-week run up to 88. 7 weeks in the top 10. That's pretty impressive.
Sounds like The Fall Guy's falling off the charts.
Indeed. Number 7, Furioso, Mad Max. Weekend did 2.4 mil. So far in its 4-week run is $63 million.
Not even like half the budget, man. They fucked up.
Yeah, they fucked up.
Watch them flying cards. They're dangerous.
I know. I need my safety goggles on. Number 6, If. Holding on strong for 5 weeks. This weekend it did 3.5 million. So far it did 101.
The kids love it.
Yeah, I think it'd be great. Like it looks like it'd be a fun one. It's so crazy. It's like either I watch really uber gory shit or I like animated movies.
Right. Want to go see Day One? I doubt it.
Day One. What's Day One?
I just saw a trailer for that the other day. It didn't look terrible, but I don't think it's worth spending money to go see it.
Can't wait to see the trailer of this one.
And then number 5 is The Watchers.
That's the Quiet Place, like prequel thing.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've watched the first one, and part of the second one.
Yeah, they're not great. The Watchers did 3.7 mil, 37, and it's been out for 2 weeks, pulling in $14 million. Had a good opening weekend run, but this past week is not very good. Number 4, Garfield. Weekend did 5 million.
Great. Now
4-week run, 79 million. One lasagna. Sounds pretty good.
Well, Garfield
Sounds pretty good. Number 3, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. This weekend did 5.2 mil, putting it at 158 for its 6-week run so far.
Well, there can only be. That was number 2?
That was number 3.
Oh.
Yeah. Number 2, that was number 1 last week, is Bad Boys Ride or Die.
Bad Boy, what you gonna do?
This week it did 33 mil. The past 2 weeks, 112 mil. So it's dropping quick too.
Like, can they stop? What do we really need? Like, it doesn't even make fucking whatever. I mean, like they're fun, entertaining movies, whatever. But god damn it, I'm so fucking tired of Will Smith's face.
Bad Boy.
I think she's saying that Day One's kind of like Bird Box.
Well, I mean, like because I was gonna say that too. Is like, even though Bird Box really was bad, I hated that movie.
The number 1 movie this week just came out Friday. Inside Out 2. Pumping out $155 million.
You're gonna lose an eye.
It's very possible.
You'll shoot your eye out.
Hold up.
Hey, why did you put those on before? Changina?
I don't know. I got some cards left. It's fine. We got plenty of cards left. Next on the news. So The Crow came out. They had a little, well, not didn't come out, but they had an early screening last week.
Yeah, it wasn't
And
good.
Cliff Dorfman said, if hypothetically one happened to see the screening of The Crow, one might say it's horrible, unwatchable, don't waste your money, or you can't believe it's so bad that it's worse than the original. So don't see it.
Yeah, that kind of sold me. I was like, if it's that bad.
So it doesn't sound like this movie is going to be very good. Which
Not
I
that surprised.
could have figured that anyway.
Shocker.
Other news that came out last week was apparently Josh Gad is trying to do Spaceballs 2.
Don't.
Why?
Because
Don't
he
know.
wants to make money. And
I hate
he, you know,
people.
I
But
like
if
Spaceballs.
Brooks don't do it, I don't want to see it.
I don't. Yeah, fuck that.
Oh, he'll, you know, oh, I give my blessing. You know, no, fuck all that. If you're a real fan of Spaceballs, like we said before, you're not going to make the new one. Fucking,
No.
it's not. It doesn't work.
He wants the paycheck in the name.
Well, yeah, I mean, it just doesn't work. No.
Mel Brooks has to be involved if it's going to be any good, period.
Agreed.
Well, that I mean, you know, no John Candy, no Joan Rivers. You know, it would not feel even remotely the same.
Truth.
Right. No.
Definitely agree with that.
And then this past week, Ian McKellen was rushed to the hospital after falling off the stage in London doing the Player Kings play.
Oh, damn.
So far, he's okay. Haven't really heard anything else.
Speedy
Yeah.
recovery.
Great actor.
Yes. Another fun, exciting news. Sister Act 3 script's done.
Who gives a flying fuck?
All right, so Mike Teller, or Miles Teller, that played Rooster in the new Top Gun, is going to be playing Zach Mayo, Richard Gere's character from the Officer and a Gentleman remake.
An officer, a gentleman, and his
Yay! Yeah. Officer and a Gentleman remake. They just need to stop.
They do.
They won't.
I know. It's too easy.
I know.
The best news this week just happened. Jason Patrick is now in Terrifier 3 universe. Cast along with Chris Jericho, Daniel Roebuck, and Tom Savini.
Hell yeah.
I get more and more excited for this movie every time I hear some shit about it.
Oh, no, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. There's not a doubt.
Daniel Roebuck plays apparently the original Santa Claus, like the real Santa. So I'm sure he gets killed in the very beginning.
I love where this is going with part 3. I really do.
So it should be fun.
Buck up Santa Claus.
Damian Leone said he was super stoked to actually direct Jason Patrick because Lost Boys is his favorite movie.
Not surprised.
Sounds like a dream come true.
Yeah.
La 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 la.
And to wrap up the news for this week, did you know that Leonardo DiCaprio was in Critters 3? So anyway, time to get on to the 1982. Toby Hooper directed. Steven Spielberg produced / controversially directed. Poltergeist. Starring Craig T. Nelson and Joe Beth Williams. We can't forget about the children who are no longer with us. Dominique Dunn and Heather O'Rourke.
Yeah.
Now, this movie is fucking... I remember seeing this when I was a kid, and it scared the shit out of me. Mainly because I had clown shit ever since I was a kid, and that clown in that movie was fucking terrifying.
Oh, yeah. One of the creepiest parts of that movie.
Yes, especially after you like go back and do some research and find out that during that scene it malfunctioned and it was actually strangling the fucking kid.
Terrifying. But a lot of strange things happened during this film.
There really is.
What was that?
and lots.
What?
I heard something.
What
Dun,
did
dun,
you...
dun. The basis for the movie is a strange, creepy happenings beset an average California family. And they ghosts commune with them through the television set. Initially friendly and playful, the spirits turn unexpectedly menacing. And then when Carol Ann goes missing, Steve and Diane turn to a parapsychologist and eventually an exorcist.
Woo.
And they got to save their house.
Save the house. Save the children.
Save the house. Save Ferris.
I mean,
What was your guys' think of this movie? I don't even know how old I was when I first saw it. I was older.
It had to, yeah, it had to be.
I was probably like 10 or 12, somewhere in there.
Yeah, there was no way we were 2 years old going to see this movie in the theater.
The thing is, I saw it after I watched part 2. I watched Poltergeist 2 first. That was just that USA used to, because the rights for the originals were usually harder to get, so they only play like the sequels, you know. So like, they would have like Poltergeist 2 and Child's Play 2, and you know, so like that's how I saw that's why I saw a lot of sequels first. That was one of them. Which I thought Poltergeist 2 was pretty damn creepy, and then going back and seeing the original.
It was.
And oh, dude, I mean, fucking Kane. Ugh. We'll get to that. But yeah, no, I think when it comes down to haunted house movies.
Really?
Sorry, Rose, I missed you, but I hope not either.
Like, oh, okay.
You froze up, Chuck.
Oh, am I good now?
You're good.
Okay. But no, like this is kind of like one of the epitomes of haunted house movies and shit. Then also, I didn't even think about it, but after rewatching Poltergeist, there's a lot of like similarities between Stranger Things and that as well. So if you're a fan of Stranger Things and never seen Poltergeist, get on it. I love it. I love these movies though. I really do. They're fantastic. They're amazing.
You mean all the Poltergeist movies, even 3?
I was gonna say there are
exceptions.
when we'll get to 3. Like I rewatching it the other day, I was like, okay. But you know, anyway, the original one though,
the original was dope.
Talk about a star-studded cast too.
Right.
Like I remember. I mean, I grew up watching fucking Coach.
Coach, I was going to say that's what everybody. That's probably the first thing I saw Craig T. Nelson in.
Yeah, that's what made me go, oh, it's Coach in this movie. All right, cool. I can dig that.
I can dig it.
He's an actor that he's one of the best, man. He honestly is. You believe every character he is. Like I believe he's kind of an asshole probably in real life. Like he just kind of just comes off really good, but he also does really good at being like the kind of jackass husband where it's like I know everything, but like, I'm terrified of everything in the same sense. Like I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah, and then Jo Beth Williams, is that her name? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man, I always had such a crush on her when I was a kid. Such a beautiful woman.
Sure.
But like this movie, there's the chemistry of everybody. Like you actually believe it's an actual family. Like you know that they're all, you know, actually related. I mean the scene where, you know, where she's like with the mom smoking a joint and the dad's like reading a book and stuff. It's like, you know, that kind of that whole scenario and setup was like, it reminded me of like my childhood, you know, like, just like, you know, it's like, okay, you know, normal family, normal household. And it's just like, oh, I don't know. It's kind of,
that was definitely my parents whenever I was a kid.
Yeah, it didn't seem too contrived. It wasn't like they were all uppity. You know, it gives it a different feel. You know, the normal haunted house movie, you know, you always think of the old decrepit house that's haunted, and you know, oh, does the old man live in there? Or fucking don't you throw rocks at that house because you know there's a ghost in there or some shit. So it's always the old house. But now they got a newer house, and it's a whole different take on the haunted type shit because it's not a natural haunting. You got motherfucking poltergeist.
yeah.
Right, like it's a whole new development.
Yeah, different phases.
Yeah, like this shit just went up, and then you find out later in the film they just moved the headstones and they buried it on a fucking cemetery.
I think that scene when he finds out that like the truth of everything, it's very similar to like you know, the end of Black Christmas. You know, the calls are coming from inside the house. That whole kind of feel, and it's just like, you know, you moved the cemetery, but you left the bodies. Like it's just like, oh shit, you know, that the last. I mean, not to because we skip around anyway, but I mean, yeah, we'll get to that. But like this movie, like everything that like, it's kind of like Exorcist. There's so much that surrounds these movies that it kind of adds to why I kind of like them as well, I guess, just because they're part of the cursed films, you know.
Well, I like too, like how like it says in like the description how like it starts out playful and shit. Like they're in the kitchen, racing chairs and shit, and fucking sliding the kids across the floor, and then literally like 2 days later, they're shitting their pants because fucking shit's just going crazy, and then their daughter just disappears, and then she's talking to them through a TV set.
Yeah. Which
Like every time when I was a kid though, yo, like whenever like my TV would just like shut off and go to like static, and I'd wake up, that shit, I'd be freaked out.
Oh shit! What's going on?
They're here. Yeah, like the TV's an issue from the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
Like because the whole thing with the neighbors having the same, like that's just kind of funny. That's like just some 80s neighbor.
We're trying to watch the game. My daughter wants to watch Sesame Street.
Or Mr. Rogers.
Oh yeah, Mr. Rogers. I knew it was some kid show.
That would be aggravating as fuck. And they're just both like big kids, just like doing that over and over again.
Yeah, I can do that shit in here with my remote. Like the one, like I'd be trying to turn on my TV. And whenever I'd hit power on my remote, I'd like turn around and like my monitor for my computer would be on.
Guy fucking riding over to the house on a kid's bike with all the fucking beer. It's like, oh, I can't drive drunk. I'm gonna fucking ride this bicycle. And then the kids are fucking with him with the remote control car, making fucking wreck. Oh.
Yes, they were real skeletons. That was one of the things.
Creepy.
Yeah, was the cast aware of that when they filmed it?
I think so.
Yeah, because I couldn't remember if they did or not.
I remember watching like because I watched the True Hollywood Story of the Poltergeist from I think 2002 or whatever, and then some of them knew but some didn't. And I don't think that JoBeth knew whenever she was in there.
Yeah.
I wonder why there was so many problems. Real dead bodies in this fucking movie.
Right.
I mean,
I guess it was cheaper than fucking making one. I don't fucking know. Like, where the fuck do you snatch up a dead fucking real corpse?
I don't know. I guess you move the cemetery and leave the bodies.
Yeah, they took the bodies this time and left the headstones.
Yeah, right.
Grave
Yeah,
diggers.
They got it backwards this time. Yeah.
Hooper grave diggers?
Yeah. Hooper found the Texas Chainsaw Massacre like crew that he had and was like, "Hey, I need you to do me a favor."
Hooper. Tobey Hooper.
Well, that was crazy too. Just all the controversy, like with who actually directed this film, because Spielberg couldn't because he was doing E.T. And then so he got Tobe Hooper because he loved Texas Chainsaw.
As one should.
You can see like both elements of their filming in the movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You definitely like both styles stand out. Like you can tell like Hooper did most of the creepy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because like the way the family is and all the happy-go-lucky shit, like you were talking about, with like the chair moving, they're like, "Oh yeah," that has a Spielberg like Goonies feel, if that makes any sense. Like,
yeah.
You get but when you get into the the dad's, he hasn't slept in days. He's drinking heavy, and like there's some like all that, like with all the supernatural show, that like that's total Hooper right there. Even down to how the monsters were, like with the there was, I guess, kind of reminds me of like the same feel of like the Fun House, if you remember that one.
Seen that one.
Good one, underrated.
Now, see, I don't know which scenes they directed specifically, but like I was thinking more of like the shots, like whenever the spirits are coming down the steps. And you see like the lights and everything, and the cameras shooting up. It looks very Spielberg-like, it's that.
I think so too.
Yeah, that also in the beginning, I think a real thing that stood out to me when watching it back was like the visual of the Heather O'Rourke, the daughter, Carol Ann, sitting there in that room, and like the lights are flashing from the TV, and it's just very cinematic. How it's like you got this young innocent girl and like these lights, like almost a strobe effect, to where what's going on, what's happening there. So that felt very theatrical and felt more Spielberg like to me. I would say like the scene later on with JoBeth whenever she's in the pool when all the corpses are popping up, that seemed very Hooper to me. So like you said, the more creepier shit probably Hooper, the stuff that looks more extravagant probably Spielberg.
Yeah, like I know Spielberg, like the scene where the guy goes, which is one of my like favorite scenes just because of how silly it is. But when like dude, he's like eating his Cheetos or whatever, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go in the kitchen and make some food." And then he goes in there and he just pulls out a random steak, not even wrapped or anything, out of a refrigerator. I'm like, well,
He just slops it and then puts it down.
Yeah. And he just plops it down on the fucking counter. Like, I don't know who does that. And he's got like a fucking chicken leg in his mouth.
And he was so careful about it too. He was just
kicking wing.
Right. And then like you see the steak start crawling away, and then like all these like fucking like turns inside out and all these maggots and shit. Like that's very Hooper. Like he definitely did that scene. But then like the scene I thought Hooper would have done too was whenever like the same scene, dude walks into the washroom or whatever in the pantry or whatever, and fucking like his face starts pulsating and shit. Then he like peels his face off.
Mm-hmm.
But that was all Spielberg.
Yeah, that's
like those were Spielberg's hands pulling the face off.
Mm-hmm.
He's always gonna have his hands somewhere in scenes like that, doesn't he?
But then like because watching that True Hollywood shit, like I could have swore that would have been fucking Hooper. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then fucking. But Spielberg's sister was saying once they saw that scene, they knew that Steven did it because he used to like cover his face in toilet paper when they were kids, and he'd like jump into the sister's rooms and like start peeling his face off, screaming and shit, just like doing all this weird shit. And then like the tree scene was him too, because whenever he was a kid, there was a tree at their house, and it always scared the shit out of him because it was shaped like a monster.
Yeah, and they do a good job with that.
Yeah, that how it looked fucking dope.
Like straight from the beginning, like whenever he's looking out the window and you see that tree, it's almost like there's faces in the tree. You know, it's very almost artistic the way they did it, and it looks so good. I think as far as a visual effect.
Well, Steven Spielberg, like a lot of people kind of forget that like that he does do horror stuff, and he has like he's maybe not known for too many horror related films, but he used to do the Amazing Stories, that old show. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. And there was quite a few like horror tales in those that were pretty. I don't know. Wouldn't be what you would think that Steven Spielberg would make. So like it is kind of like I'm basically going back with the fact that it is kind of difficult to tell who's who for like in certain parts because of both of I don't know.
Right. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
like the fucking like the story, like some of the shots, like Mike was saying, you can definitely tell, but like some of the scenes that I would think would be Hooper was actually Spielberg.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of alluding to. Just that both of them have horror history.
Yeah, because I could have swore like the face peeling scene would have been fucking Hooper.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, me too.
Like originally, they said Drew Barrymore auditioned for Carol Ann, but he wanted to use her in E.T. instead.
Yeah.
Because they pretty much used the same set when they were filming both movies, because he was right there. And like a lot of times during breaks, like the kids from Poltergeist were hanging out with Drew Barrymore and the kids from E.T.
Yeah.
E.T.
Oh no.
I don't know. I don't know if you want to get into it at all, but probably not get into a whole thing. But there also is a whole conspiracy that has to do with Spielberg and little poor Heather O'Rourke. Have you heard about that shit? Where the red shoes, the whole blood ritual conspiracy of Hollywood and all that. And apparently, from what I was reading about it, it said that there's shoes that are made from the skin of child actors and stuff. And apparently Spielberg has a pair of shoes made from her blood, like used to adopt.
Get the fuck out of here.
There's like all kinds of it's a weird fucking thing, man. But when you go down the rabbit hole of it, there's some creepy shit. I don't know. Steven Spielberg is no saint, though. I know that much.
This is why I don't do drugs, man. This is shoot.
Dude, it's weird. I know it sounds crazy, but believe me, there's a whole conspiracy, man. It all goes down to Hollywood and their weird, fucked up ritualistic shit, man.
Like whenever I said I needed some kid shoes, I didn't mean some kid shoes.
Uncle Ronnie. Oh shit!
Fucked up.
Got my special shoes.
It's creepy. It's all creepy.
That is pretty creepy.
It is, man. no matter if it's true or not, the fact that there's even rumors get started for a reason. Usually there's some kind of, conspiracies and rumors are usually shrouded in some type of truth.
Yeah, here's the truth. Fucking Steven Spielberg has red shoes. That's the truthful part.
Or is it?
He was a fan of Wizard of Oz.
Or, I guess you could probably throw in that whole Jaws thing where that girl ended up dead on the set of Jaws we were talking about.
Yeah.
Connect the dots.
Man.
A lot of death going on here. Twilight Zone.
Just like and apparently Tom Hanks has something to do with it too. But Tom Hanks is an asshole. Anyway, they don't know that one. It's great.
But originally, I heard Stephen King was supposed to be writing this movie.
Wow.
But
I wonder how that would have been.
Apparently, he wanted too much money.
No, of course.
I mean, he is the king.
Well, it was mainly because, too, I guess Spielberg was a huge fan of The Shining. So that's why, on the TV set, the time's 2:37 whenever she actually gets, whenever the TV actually turns on the first time. And then at the end, you can see the yellow beetle outside that gets tipped over. That's supposed to be Jack Torrance's beetle.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's kind of funny considering the fact that, Stephen King hated The Shining.
Easter egg.
He hated
Well, I'm not saying it was Stephen King's idea; it was Spielberg's idea because he.
But it just I don't know. It's just kind of.
It's so bizarre, It's I fucking love The Shining. Probably.
I do too. Yeah.
My favorite horror movie, and I love Natural Born Killers, but fucking Tarantino hates it, and fucking Stephen King hates The Shining. It's they're so good. How can you hate them?
Right. I think Stephen King, oh yeah, but I think when it comes down to that, I think Stephen King's, besides the fact that he didn't like Jack Nicholson already being crazy, but I think it also is because Stanley Kubrick and him just did not see eye to eye at all. I think that whole experience left a bad taste in his mouth, so that didn't help it. So even if he did like it, he's not going to say he liked it. That's just kind of how Stephen King is. But he also I'm a huge fan. One of my favorite movies that's based on his shit is Graveyard Shift, and he hates that movie. I watched him speak in Tennessee, and he spoke for about 15 minutes of why he did not like that movie, and I was like, well, that sucks, but it's still one of my favorites.
I wish they would just come out and be like, you know what, these people went in, they fucked with my shit, I wasn't happy about it, not the way I would have done it, but hey, props to them because it turned out pretty fucking good. They can't say that, they're too proud.
Yeah,
right.
Because The Shining is a classic. It is. I mean, I'm a huge Jack Nicholson fan. So a lot of people have a problem with the the mini series of The Shining with Steven Weber. I enjoy it. I think it was an entertaining version of it. But
I don't know. My favorite Stephen King shit's always going to be it.
Oh, my favorite is always going to be Pet Sematary. That movie had such an impact on me. That book too. I think that's just probably the scariest book in my opinion. But that one, just everything about it. The book, the movie, whatever. I could go on for hours about that. We probably shouldn't do that. Poltergeist. If Stephen King would have made Poltergeist, though, I wonder how different of a movie it would have been. Because I could almost see him doing something very similar than what it, like it was already.
I mean, what?
I don't see how you could do much more with this to make it any better. Like it was, I mean, especially for the time and the effects and everything. Like it fucking was great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't have asked for a better come off. I mean, it sucks that part 3 wasn't as good, but I mean, they didn't have anything to really do with it.
Part 3 shouldn't even. We'll get there. God. But I mean, but again, Poltergeist. I mean, it's classic. Just it's up there with Exorcist and Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Halloween and all those. It's it's one of the it's just I feel like Amityville Horror is the ultimate haunted house movie. I think the Poltergeist is probably the ultimate ghost movie.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
It's up there. I don't know if it's the one, but it's up there.
It's definitely one of the forefathers, you know. Of
I'd say it's one of the most memorable.
Yeah, yeah. There's not too many movies where you can, remember certain things like, they're here and all that, little taglines. There's not too many of those these days that have those moments.
Well, yeah, I mean, especially if you look at the screen time of Heather O'Rourke, where she's hardly in it. She gets sucked in, and she's just in the TV, so she doesn't really have a lot of dialogue, and she's a kid. But it's like the things that she's done, you know, in the film, like it's quotable and memorable. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that just speaks for itself.
The one thing when I was rewatching this, it's weird because like I'm such a big softy anymore, but the idea itself of, okay, your kid hasn't been kidnapped. Your kid hasn't run away. Your kid's been sucked into the TV by supernatural forces. And you can occasionally hear her. Dude, that's heartbreaking. Like, to put yourself in the shoes of those parents, that family.
I mean, you can see your hands on the other side of the TV.
Just, like,
yeah,
I don't know.
I almost wonder why they, it's weird how they react to it, because, you would think that, like, oh, maybe somebody just take a hammer and bust out the TV. Like, is she in the TV somehow? I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I feel like they didn't react like a normal family would. I don't know.
No, I mean, I feel like Robbie's initial reaction was good. But once he like brought them all in the room, they just all kind of like, they just accepted this shit too easy, I think.
Well, I mean, at first
freaking the fuck out.
Excited. Oh yeah. I mean, anytime that you experience something in the supernatural world, like you're shocked, but it depends on what kind of level of like, okay, you have something moving, a chair in your kitchen. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty amazing. Okay. It's also pulling your kid and stuff, because they go over to the neighbor's house and all that shit or whatever, and they're all like laughing and they're just like, they do kind of accept it kind of quick. Because it's all like, oh, it's just all fun and games, whatever. But it doesn't take long for like shit to hit the fan.
Yeah, I like it too, because even though there's like a lot of like the reactions and everything seem a little bit weird or different, it's like the way the pace goes, it almost makes up for it, to where it doesn't overthink the situation.
True.
It just kind of throws it at you and like, okay, here's it is. We're going full speed ahead. And I think I like it better that way, rather than them sitting down and trying to be like, okay, what's going on here? Because it's like, in normal everyday life now, if your chair was moving across the floor like that, you'd be calling up fucking the news station or fucking throwing it on YouTube trying to get fucking hits or something. You know what I mean? People would be exploiting it, and they're treating it like a fun little family game, and then their daughter disappears. They don't even call the police. They go to the fucking parapsychologist, which is, how in 1980s, why would you even think to do that? She's like, who are you going to call? It's like Ghostbusters,
Right.
But that isn't really happening in the real world. So, and there's no internet, so it's not like you can look this type of thing up. I would think you would either go to the police or go to your church or something.
That's something else you got to put your shoes into. It's like, okay, you call the cops and you go, my kid's been taken over by ghosts in the TV. Need your help. And they're going to go, you murdered your kid. We're coming to arrest you right now. And we're going to fucking throw everything in this, and,
they just show up to your house with a straitjacket. Like, come with us.
Yeah. But then I guess all you have to do is like go up in the room, open the door. Like I say, I love that scene when the
ready to say.
When the ghost investigator people like are there and they're all like, well, blah blah blah, and he's like, and he just opens the door and it's just like,
yeah, because we're talking about that they've been working on this kind of shit for years, and it's like, oh, I captured a child's Hot Wheels car travel 7 feet on its own.
He's like,
over the span of 7 hours. He's like, what happened over the span of 7 hours? It's like, oh, the car to make it from one destination to the other. I mean, you couldn't catch it with the human eye, but I have it recorded. And he's like, okay. It's like opens the door. It's like, fuck everything you knew before because next level shit.
Yeah. No, you always love those scenes where the people who are kind of skeptic or they're know-it-alls get proven wrong.
Mhm.
That's always a good feeling. Always a good feeling.
That shit's crazy because then like the fucking protractor's floating around the room and she's like making sure she don't get stabbed in the fucking eyeball with it. Then it starts playing the record.
That's what would happen in a modern version is the protractor would fly right into her eye.
Right.
You know, that's the one thing about this. It's more family friendly. You know, there's not a lot of killing or blood or guts. Yeah, there is none of that. So it has the creepiness. It has the scares and everything without having to go down that road. So
yeah,
that's what's funny too is like it originally got an R rating, and then Spielberg went down and was like, "Hey, I only make PG movies," and they're like, "Okay," and they just switched it.
All right,
like, we're sorry, Spielberg doesn't make R movies. Oh, we got to make. Oh, okay. There's not really anything in it that's really that bad. I mean,
it was like I think 3 years before the PG-13 actually came out, so like they just made it PG. They were like, "Okay, no questions."
Probably the second one was PG-13.
Probably the part where he rips his face off. I would think that would be the most
right. The maggots and the steak, maybe.
I mean, maggots are maggots, but
I mean, yeah.
No,
because at the time, people, and I'm sure, like drug use, you know, for that one scene at that time period. Now it's like not that big of a deal, but
yeah, I could see it for them smoking a joint or whatever in bed.
Yeah, which I mean, but millions of people do every day.
Right.
But I don't think you can go without talking about the OG that just flashed on your screen there, Chad Main. The fucking gangster of this film.
Zelda?
Tangina.
Zelda Rubinstein?
Oh, man, she's the shit. I don't care what anybody
says. Really was. Like, I used to have this teacher in elementary school that looked like her, and that shit was dope.
I had a librarian that was like that. She was a little short thing. It always reminded me of her.
Yeah. I wish Jess was in the chat because she probably remembers Mrs. Sluss. Way back. Mrs. Sluss.
Slut.
Two S's, no H.
Gonna play some slots.
Easy.
Hey,
easy. But no, she looked just like that chick. It was pretty. It was funny. Like I remember after I seen the movie, I was always like, "That looks like my teacher that I had a couple years ago."
Yeah, Zelda Rubinstein, man, passed away back in 2010, and I don't think she gets the credit that she deserves.
No, she only filmed for 6 weeks.
She's one of those people that is just so memorable in so many different ways. You know, she's just a tiny woman, and her voice, if you hear her voice, you know exactly
who it is.
100%. And like I said, she's one of those ones. It's like now you got The Conjuring and, you know, shit like that where you have these other actresses that are in the forefront. But she's like, you know, like when you go back, like on the Mount Rushmore, like you were saying, of like haunted shit back in the 80s and everything like that.
She's the OG.
For real.
The only things that I can remember her being on was Poltergeist and that episode of Tales from the Crypt, where it was a dude from The Omen, and he was also in Ninja Turtles 2 and a bunch of other shit, the British guy. And
Wasn't she a medium in that episode too?
What was
Something like that? Wasn't she like a medium in that episode?
No, she was a mother because the old dude was a psychologist who was kind of an asshole, like a radio guy. And him and his assistant, who was played by the model Twiggy, they make a house call. And they were going to do it live on the air to do a house call. So they go to this house because he can assure he can cure this woman's issues with her daughter. And he gets over there, and it's her. She's the mom, and he's like, "And how old is little Felicity or whatever?" And you keep thinking it's this little girl, and turns out she's a living dead child who does some horrible things to people in the movie or in the episode. It's one of my favorites. I can't remember what it's called though.
I know what I'm thinking about. I was thinking about she's in Teen Witch.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Yeah, I haven't seen that movie.
She ran the fucking little store or whatever, and she like taught chick how to be a witch.
What was that TV show she did where she was just the voiceover? Oh, fuck. It was like some kind of ghost hunter type shit. Oh, fuck. I can't remember now.
Yeah,
World's Most Scariest Places or something, maybe?
Oh, is she like a narrator of like real shit or whatever?
Yeah.
That might actually. What was that?
Let me look at it.
It sounds familiar, actually. That does make sense. I think she's a great character.
Scariest Places on Earth.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember that one.
It was hosted by Linda Blair, and she did the narration over the talking about the different locations and everything like that. And it was so creepy because like as she got older, because this was like in 2000, and it's like her voice sounds even creepier, like overdubbing, like talking about some fucking haunted shit. Like it's like whoa, fucking you're sitting in the dark listening to that shit, like oh fuck man, this is fucking scary.
Well, the one interview I watched with her, she thought like the movie was just a flop because like as soon as she got done her scene, she didn't talk to nobody for over a year, and then it finally got released. So I was like, that's pretty fucking crazy. But she just thought it was nothing. But then she said it just totally made her career.
No,
I just didn't get. Oh, go on.
I was gonna say I think she was in that Leslie Vernon movie too, like a small part.
I never saw that one.
You never saw that?
I've tried watching it, but like it just doesn't. I watched like the first 20 minutes of it. I'm like,
I liked it. It was a fun concept because it's like
it's good.
You're doing a documentary on a serial killer, like you're walking around with him. They're like, oh, what do you do? You know, in your downtime, your spare time, like a lot of cardio. Like you realize how hard it is to try to catch somebody who's running and you have to walk. You know, it's like it's a great comedy type documentary style film. I thought it was fun. It's fun to film.
Man, I might have to go and give it another shot then maybe.
Yeah.
No, I do get annoyed with this woman though in this movie. Like there's just I don't know. I got annoyed with her in the second one too. Like again, great character for the role and all that shit, but I understand why Craig T. Nelson's character is so unsure about her. Although at first he's like, there's one thing I didn't understand is like, okay, he's acting like a skeptic towards everything when she comes in, but it's like, what's been happening this whole time? Why are you being so weird towards her? Like, I don't know, but there's moments where she's confusing, like when she's like, tell her don't go into the light, go into the light, and then she's like, tell her to go in the light.
Yeah, like she starts sounding like all the children go to the light. He's like, bitch, what? You just said no. He's looking at her like she's fucking crazy. He's about to strangle her.
Well, that's what she tries to explain in that first film, where she's like, you know, saying how, like Carol Ann is kind of like a beacon of light in that world to the spirits, and then there's the light where it's like they're passing on into another realm, you know, moving on or whatever. So there's like two different types of things, and they can't differentiate. It's like she doesn't want Carol Ann to go into the light, like you're moving on from this world to the next, but she wants the spirits that are stuck here to move on. So she wants them to go into the light, but she doesn't want Carol Ann to go into the light. No, so it's a little complicated, but I think it's just the writing, you know, where they want him to kind of be a skeptic whenever she shows up to kind of prove, you know, what she's got. Because it's like, oh, he's like whispering to him, like, oh yeah, you know, I was thinking what I was gonna say, and she didn't answer, and then she responds to it. She's like, oh, I just don't like trick questions or answers or whatever. So it's like, I think they just threw that in there to kind of show that she's got the chops to do the job.
And she has.
I like the beginning. Go ahead.
I was she also has one of those memorable quotes that are throughout this movie. Which, of course, when I was rewatching it, I wasn't hearing her voice when she was saying it. I was hearing fucking Ace Ventura's. But this house is clear. like I don't know. For some reason, there's just that I've always seen that'd be a cool sample at the end of a song or some shit. Ooh.
Well, I like too, like at the beginning, whenever they first get Dr. Lesh, and they bring her into the house, and then like they finally see some shit going on, and then like the next scene, you see her drinking her tea, and she's fucking just like shaking mess.
Yeah. Never experienced anything like this. This is the next
Right.
level. Yeah.
And then she pulls out her fucking little nip jar and starts taking swigs out of it.
Yeah.
Like, that shit's great.
So yeah,
That's how shit. I can see like that's how shit would be though. Like I don't know. Like I don't believe in that shit, but I mean, if I seen it, I would. I guess.
for sure.
That's understandable. I mean, I you all know that I believe in stuff. I've been through some shit. I've seen some shit, like, but it does take somebody to actually seeing something. I do understand that completely. But I've never been in a room where everything is flying around. I have been in rooms where like doors are slamming on their own. I have seen people moving around. I've never had a huge ectoplasmic ghost come at me down the stairs.
He's fine.
Not yet, anyway. But
have you ever been laying in the bed and all of a sudden there's a ghost?
Get a blowjob from a ghost. One time.
Pants get unzipped.
Pants.
One time. She never called me again. Something about moving on.
No, like the whole time though, like whenever Robbie's getting strangled by the clown, and then whenever Chick's getting flown around the room, all I kept thinking about was Scary Movie 2. Whenever fucking the clown pulls Ray under the bed, then you see his dick come out and grab the clown, and it's like fucking like that shit cracks me up.
Oh,
Then when the chick's fucking getting thrown around the room in Scary Movie 2, and he pulls her shirt up and her panties say Wednesday and it's Friday, and he's like, ooh. Like, God, that shit was killing me.
I don't know, but she didn't do a ton of stuff, Zelda Rubinstein. But I feel like she's, such an iconic figure. It's not like top tier, like we were talking about, like your Michael Myers and all that stuff, because it's a different, genre type thing. It's like we're the hauntings and everything like that. But it's like she's definitely in there. I mean, I feel like she's in there with like, I don't know, Tall Man, like back then, like the second string people that like you remember, but they're not like up there with the fucking slasher, serial killer, fucking A-list horror shit. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like just like those characters that are memorable. Like not so much the killers and stuff. It's like like talking about like Phantasm. Like it's not like she's not Angus, but she's Reggie.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, so she's a very memorable character, especially since she's been that character has been brought back a couple of times in sketch shows, and I'm pretty sure. I want to say that one of the Treehouse of Horrors from The Simpsons. I want to say that there was a character a couple of times on there that was her.
I could see that.
I can totally see that. So, yeah, she's definitely like a horror icon. I mean, you can't get past that.
For show.
Yeah, like you said too, though. Like her in part 2 was a little different, and then part 3 was just where I don't even fucking dumb.
All right, so of course the end of the original Poltergeist, real quick. I mean, has probably one of the most like just craziest. I mean, you talk about chaotic. The last 10 minutes of that movie. I mean, you find out like because like the boss, like when all that shit's going crazy, and the boss is up there, and he. Was showing him like this is your fucking fault.
Yeah, James Karen.
Yeah, and then like all of a sudden, like there's caskets flying up from the ground and up in the middle of the living room and all that shit, and just like it's like boom. And then when you're watching it and going back to the real skeleton things, it's just like I wonder if these people thought one day when I die, I'm going to be shoved through a floor for everyone to see in one of the biggest ghost movies ever. That's what I mean. I personally like. Please do it. Like I want to like abuse my body in a horror film. Cool. But I don't think the people back then probably knew that was how they were getting donated. we were supposed to help people and well, for some reason I'm being shot through a fucking like roof right now. I don't really know what's happening.
It's funny, like whenever I went back and watched that shit again today, Like, I don't know what made me do it, but like during the scene, whenever she like goes running outside before she like falls into the pool, I went ahead and threw on Skulls by the Misfits. Fucking perfect.
Perfect.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I was like, I want to like get on here later and like re-edit that shit and put that in the background.
I want your skull.
Like it was just like it lined up perfect.
Hell
I
yeah.
was like, that's pretty funny.
To me, I feel like Jo Beth Williams is the MVP of this film because she's the one who's carrying it. She does the fucking heavy lifting, you know, all the emotional stuff and everything like that. She does such a good job, you know, being the mom that's so concerned and just wants to get her daughter back. And it's like, you know, especially like the scenes where she feels Carol Ann's spirit like go through
Coming
her,
through her.
soul,
Yeah.
her soul, and all that, and she just
I can
like,
smell her.
Yeah, it's like Jo Beth Williams fucking is a rock star in this film. You know, like I said, you got Carol Ann, you got Tangina, who are very memorable but very small roles in the overall scheme of things. And like Jo Beth Williams is just there from start to finish and fucking screaming her ass off and doing a great job of acting. So fucking props to her.
That whole scene, that's the scene. I'm not gonna lie, I got teary-eyed on. Because again, when I watch these kind of movies and stuff, and being a parent when it has to do with kids, you tend to put yourself in that. Like, how would you be, you know, reacting? I mean, I would lose my fucking mind. But like, again, your kid has not been kidnapped. Blah 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 blah. They are in the house being held captive in a TV by supernatural spirits, all that shit or whatever. And it's like to that moment where it's like I can smell her. I can, you know, and it's just like, man, like there's something about when you're a parent. And it's like, you know, your kids smell. There's just, I don't know. There's just something about that whole scene. And it just got me fucking like, I was over here just like, it was just such a fucking pussy moment to me.
No, I mean, that's, like I said, that's a testament to Jo Beth Williams acting because, you know, when an actor make you feel a certain way like that, fucking, they are doing their job. So
you believe their parents who are just like, they're exhausted mentally, physically. They're, you know, their hearts are breaking. Like you feel it. Like they do a fucking phenomenal job.
That's what I'm saying. Just like this whole movie just reminds me of my childhood. You know what I mean? Like it just everything fits. Like just the way the parents are like hiding out in their bedroom smoking weed and this, that, and the other thing. And then that was my childhood.
Well, I remember when I was kidnapped by ghosts and kept in the electricity. My family didn't know. Strange childhood I had too. You know, except they kept trying to make sure that ghosts kept me, and they just kept spitting me back out. It was a whole thing.
All right.
Yes.
White noise.
Yeah.
That stuff's weird.
That's like what you said earlier, Chad. I mean, like, you know, you wake up in the middle of the night and, you know, the
TV's just snow
already gone, and it's just. And in every horror movie, it goes. There's always that scene where the guy's passed out when he shouldn't have gone to sleep, and you know, and he goes from the dun 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 dun, and then it just goes. I always think about this shit. It's always creepy. And I also got to throw out there, the movie White Noise, unfortunately, was a piece of shit. So throw it out there. Michael Keaton's great. That movie sucked. They could have done so much better.
Jack Frost, Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
Multiplicity.
So yeah, you know, maybe this film will make me a believer. You know, I'm more of a skeptic because I haven't seen shit. I've gone to these places, man. I ain't seen shit. But
I ain't seen shit.
That's right. But I did. I don't know. This was kind of weird. I came home and there was like some dirt dug up in my yard, and I found this sitting there, and I remember my bird died, and I buried him, but I don't know why it was out. Tweety. Oh God, Tweety. You're delicious.
That seems funny too, though. Who the fuck flushes a bird down the toilet? What the fuck?
And we talked about this last week. I have never been compelled to go to sleep with my baseball cap on.
Right.
Oh, bad. Yes. Not with a cap, though.
Like, I've fallen asleep with my hat on, but I've never been in bed with my hat on.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm going to keep this on and go to bed. Peace out. No, that's weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
That was very weird. You guys have anything else to add to this film?
Tweety was delicious.
It's a fucking classic. Are we gonna talk about the second one, the sequels, real quick?
I mean, the second one I thought was good. It was creepy. Kane was creepy. Taylor was dope.
If you notice, because I didn't realize this, I didn't think about this for years until rewatching it the other night, was the fact that the older sister wasn't even, they just took her out completely.
Well, yeah.
No, she got killed.
Well, I know that. Yeah, like they don't even have it.
They didn't even rewrite her though. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't even. It's like she never even happened. That's what they decided just to.
Yeah.
You know, and you got and that just goes along with the curse of Poltergeist. You know, that shit, because the sister, she was murdered by her boyfriend.
Her ex-boyfriend. Yeah. Like 6 months after the movie was done.
Yeah.
Showed up at the house. She broke up with him, and he showed up trying to get her to take him back, and she wouldn't, and he fucking choked her to death and left her to die right there in her fucking driveway.
She was so fucking young. And then Heather O'Rourke, she didn't last very much longer after Poltergeist 3.
No,
like,
she couldn't even finish filming part 3.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
By the end, they had a stunt Carol Ann, like, so that's why you never saw her face. You just saw the back of her head. So like all the scenes with her running around the way in the hallway, that was just somebody else.
Yeah, it's that's one of the that's a huge tragedy. Like, it's also like I don't know if because it was a stomach thing, right?
Yeah, well, they diagnosed her with Crohn's and was treating her for Crohn's, but it was some other kind of intestinal shit.
See, being a Crohn's patient, that happens. Like, there's so many different stomach ailments that are very similar to each other. And Crohn's at that time wasn't really known. Because when I got diagnosed with it, they really had no idea. There wasn't pamphlets. There wasn't a whole bunch of like medications for it. They had no fucking clue. Doctors didn't know whatever. It's one of the reasons why it fucked my stomach up. But that's a whole other thing. But yeah, like it's pretty sad the fact that they couldn't right. Because I would say that there was probably a lot of different doctors who were pulling, oh, it's not this, it's probably this, and da 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 da. Because there are so many similarities. I had 4 different doctors who were telling me that I had 3 different things, and it wasn't.
Well, that's why she had chipmunk cheeks in the third one, because of her medication.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even whenever she got sick again, they were trying to say it was like, oh, well, these symptoms are related to like flu or something like that. So they kept just misdiagnosing everything, and fucking then she ended up having cardiac arrest. They airlifted her. They took her in and tried to correct the bowel obstruction, and she didn't make it. So
that's
it was sad.
That was what's really fucked up though is the fact of like thinking about that time period and thinking about what that poor little girl went through. Like when I started going through my Crohn's shit, that like fucked me up. Like I know how bad it messed me up mentally, physically, everything. I could only imagine like what she was going through and not getting the proper it's heartbreaking. She wasn't getting the proper treatment. They weren't fucking. It's just
she was only 12 when she died.
No.
Yeah, I mean I was 25 when I had my stomach surgery because of my Crohn's and stuff. I couldn't imagine being a child and going through like all that and then not having
the correct treatment.
She didn't have any of this. So it's like that probably would have saved her. And they didn't, it bothers me for obvious reasons.
Yeah, it sucks, man. Definitely a tragedy in the whole story of the people they lost and how young they were.
And it was so weird. I remember back in, I think it was maybe high school, middle school, after the third film came out and they had said she died. I remember like the urban legend was that she drowned while they were filming the third movie. Because that's,
I remember that.
Yeah, it was before like internet. So it was all urban legend and rumor and all that. And they always said it was this scene here with her in the puddle from 3. Here,
in the parking garage or whatever.
Yeah. So that was always the fucking urban legend that I heard coming up was that they filmed this scene and she actually ended up drowning, which is not true. But it's just so weird how those things get started.
Those kind of rumors, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I always thought she looked like the little girl from the original Troll movie.
There you go.
There are moments where she kind of does look like her.
Yeah.
Well, she's the all-American, blonde hair, blue eyes, sweet little girl.
So part 2's good. It's creepy. It has the same feeling as the first one. There's some things in that are still kind of like, hey, if some creepy old bastard was like walking up my walkway and coming at my family.
Yeah, he's the creepiest dude ever.
Oh, dude, it used to freak me the fuck out. And that guy was dying of stomach cancer when he played him.
Yeah, while he was filming him, he knew.
There wasn't much makeup with that guy.
No.
Like, and he wasn't even that old of a guy either, which is like that, literally death eating a cracker. Like
No, he was 60.
Was he 60?
Yeah, when he
I
died.
thought he was younger. I thought he was younger than that.
No, because he was born in 25 and then died. He got diagnosed in 83 and died in 85. So he was diagnosed when he was 58 and died when he was 60. So
hats off to him.
Julian Beck as Kane.
Yeah, one of the creepiest. I mean that guy.
And he definitely left a legacy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I plan on getting him tattooed on me at some point. I've always said that, just because it is one of the creepiest characters.
There's that big ass fucking top hat and shit, like they're not like top hat, but whatever the fuck kind of hat that you would call that.
Yeah.
Just that big ass fucking wide brimmed hat.
Is that Indian in there? He's bad. He's gonna try to turn you against your family.
He always like sang that little Jesus song or whatever.
Oh yeah. See that right there? That right there would get the fuck off my property. Get the fuck out of here with that shit, you creepy asshole. Like, it's one thing you want to talk about religion, whatever. You come walking up fucking singing creepy ass old fucking Jesus tunes.
Some weird hymns.
Go away, go away. I've seen your film.
Your daughter's an angel.
Yeah. Get the fuck away.
She's an angel. I don't know. That scene had some like, I mean, I feel like I've seen that one first myself. Because I just remember how creepy he was. And like just the whole fuck, like I always remembered that, like how creepy he was, and I remember the scene where fucking Craig T. Nelson drinks the bottle of tequila and swallows the worm, and it fucking turns.
Yeah.
He throws that shit up. That shit was fucked.
Yeah, totally.
Just a lot shorter.
That and
Angus
Thinner.
Scrim was great.
That guy would have been good and thinner.
Oh right.
Yeah. So fucking good. But the second one, like, it definitely holds up, I think.
I think it's good.
It's not as good as the first one, but just like it's fucked up. Like whenever fucking Robbie's braces fucking come to life or whatever and time to the ceiling.
It's kind of a little bit more like there's a little bit extra to it than the original, but it has the same feel to it.
It's a bit more spiritual than the first one.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because at the time, like any kind of movie that had to do with anything like ghosts or whatever, you always had to bring in the Indian guy. Always.
Fucking Taylor was dope.
Yeah, dude, he was awesome.
Whenever he steals their fucking car and they don't even realize it.
Yeah. He's like, oh, he's like, here, like, I did like the addition to him, and it was like I was halfway through the movie when I was like, that's the fucking guy from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It took me a minute, Dex. I was like, I know him from somewhere, and then I was like, put it in the basket, Chief. And I was like, oh shit. Like, that's one of my favorite movies too. Can we talk about the fucking ridiculously awkward part 3 real quick? Can we talk about how Tom Skerritt is a very creepy man towards Carol Ann in this movie?
Dude,
like, so holy fuck.
Skerritt.
This movie killed me when I watched it, because the whole time, the only way I really got through it was every time they showed What's-Her-Face, all I kept picturing her saying was, Lewis or Murphy, I'm a mess.
Same.
Like, just from RoboCop. And every time I saw him, I just started laughing, because I was like, how the fuck does the non-blood relative care more about this little girl than the fucking blood relative?
Mm-hmm.
And the blood relative's just like, get rid of this fucking girl. I can't believe my sister and them did this shit to us. And he's just like, she's a fucking kid. I'm like, who's got their priorities fucked up here? Apparently Lewis deserves to get shot.
Like, I get the having compassion for the kid and everything, but man, it's so like his character is just he's yeah. I just watching it was like, this is just awkward, because like he's got her sitting in the bed, and he's like, "Hey, it's gonna be okay. We're gonna be fine." And I'm like, "Oh, mustache man, back the fuck up. What are you doing?
Like,
You
no,
creepy
that's
asshole."
that is not reassuring at all.
No, that's
freaking me
that's
out.
just weird. No, like it just that the part 3, like there were some cool moments, with the mirror, like break in and cracking that was kind of a cool little thing, like precursor to what was happening slowly, and then there was a couple other little things, but overall, it just didn't need to be made.
I really
I
feel
realized
like they just
why they
kind
were
of
doing
made.
it.
Like I'm pretty sure they just wung the whole fucking movie. Like I don't even think it had a script. I don't think it had shit. Like I just think they just fucking went on and just fucking did some shit on the fly.
All right, Tom Skerritt, we need you to sit in here and be really creepy towards children. Can you do that? Yes, I can.
I like Tom Skerritt. He's pretty dope.
Usually I don't have a problem with the guy, but in
Top
this
Gun?
movie, he is fucking weird.
Fucking
He's a
aliens.
fucking, what is it? Oh, that's right. He wasn't aliens, wasn't he?
Fucking
Right,
picket fences.
Oh, Picket Fences. My mom used to love that fucking show.
I used to watch that shit as a kid with my parents.
Desperation.
Is that a picture of you and Tom Skerritt?
What?
Did you guys? I haven't seen the 2015 one. Have you guys seen it?
Yes,
I like it.
I
You
do
like it?
too. It's fun.
It's one of those remakes that are like as good as the OG.
Really?
Yeah, Sam Rockwell fucking killed it. I mean, I
He
don't
does it.
know, like, they're like they pretty much got that movie down to a T whenever they did that because there's so much the same shit in there except for the only real difference is the kid that plays the old like the brother. He's the one that goes into the fucking portal to get Madison back because they changed up all the names.
Right.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, dude. I was weird about it when it first came out, but
Doesn't have the
I
same.
enjoyed it.
I've seen the remake more than I've seen the original because I said like during our meeting last week, like me and Tom watched that shit all the fucking time with his niece.
It's a good one. Some of them can't do it,
I just like I said, I love Sam Rockwell too. Like he's great.
Madison. Madison doesn't have the same ring as Carol Ann. Carol Ann.
No, it's not as creepy when you say it either,
Carol Ann.
Carol Ann.
Say it.
Who's the guy that plays the fucking the ghost guy?
The ghost guy.
The ghost guy.
You tell me.
I'm trying.
Who's the ghost guy? Tell us about the ghost guy.
What, like the Tangina?
Yeah,
Tell us about the fucking golf shoes.
Kerrigan Burke. His real name's Jared Harris.
Björgen Kiergan?
From the Bjorgen Shore. But yeah, he did a pretty good job in that movie as well.
Yeah.
It's a dope movie. Like if you want to watch a modernized Poltergeist, I would say it holds true. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the Texas Chainsaw remake kind of deal.
How much CGI?
Not a whole lot.
Because that's what, fucking.
Like all the clown scenes and shit are true. Like the tree scene's probably the biggest CGI there is, but you really like it's decently done.
See, the
Mainly because it's so dark.
I hate that shit. But fucking the first film, man, all the practical effects look so good. The tree eating the kid and fucking everything.
That was all filmed in reverse.
Yeah. And even if you don't, it's like obviously the audience doesn't know they're real skeletons or whatever, but everything looks great. I mean, the one scene where Joe Beth goes in the hallway and like you got the red door, and then all of a sudden the hall looks like it's like a mile long.
Yeah,
that effect, and I like that shit. Where it doesn't have to be like when we were talking about fucking Late Night with the Devil. It could have been so much better in my mind if they didn't do fucking shitty CGI effects for such basic stuff, like when the guy's throwing up the black stuff and everything. Like I'm like, why do you have to, like, this is an easy practical effect that would look a million times better. Like, why do you gotta fuck it up with CGI? Right. Never gonna be a fan. Always gonna be a hater. CGI.
That was always my biggest gripe. That's like about the only gripe I had about Devil's Rejects was all the CGI blood.
Oh my god. Oh,
yeah, but it wasn't really that bad.
That's the only thing that makes that movie like just kind of cringy. And
the ending, oh my gosh, get the fuck out of my.
What?
Huh?
You got a problem with the ending of Devil's Rejects?
When they're all spoiler,
Free Bird.
I don't mind Freebird. I'm saying this. Okay, spoiler for Devil's Rejects. If you haven't watched Devil's Reject, fucking close your ears. But whenever they're getting shot, and they're getting shot by a million bullets, and it's all CGI.
Oh, I know.
It looks like garbage.
I don't think it looks that bad actually. Just like when like the knife and old girls like ribs.
If they had splatter packs under their shirts, it'd look a lot better if they were wearing quibs.
Imagine if they had like 1,000 fucking squibs going off. That'd be badass. I can't believe Rob Zombie wouldn't fucking sign up for that.
I'm sure there was a reason for it, but I mean, like I love that movie. I think that's
just what I said. That the only beef I have with that movie is the CG blood. Because I felt like Rob Zombie hurt my feelings using CG blood.
No,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I fucking love that film. Great film, but
yeah,
there's definitely things that could have been improved on. It's not perfection.
Well, I think it is. But
wow. Okay.
I think it's perfection. I think Devil's Rejects is the perfect Rob Zombie movie.
Perfect Rob Zombie movie, perhaps, but not
the perfect movie. It's definitely my favorite out of all of his movies. But
oh yeah, I get what you're saying. Though. I get what you're saying.
Just
nitpicking.
Oh, I do it too. You know that. But I mean,
I wish he'd make other classic movies that stand up to that. But I don't know what he decided to do.
I think that
the studio fucked him a lot of times.
Why does he keep going back though?
He just needs to make his own fucking production company and everything, and just do it all himself, freelance the whole joint.
For real, like why couldn't you do like a crowdfunding gimmick where you're doing a low budget horror film with practical?
But what do you even need to do with all the fucking royalties and shit he has on stuff? Like he should be good.
I mean, dude, he lives pretty well.
I know. I've seen the tours of his house and shit. He's fucking got the ultimate horror collection.
Oh yeah, dude. It's really funny though because like where him and Sherry Moon have been living the last like 10 years or so or something like that. Like it's like because the house that they lived in when he did the MTV Cribs is not where he lives at anymore.
Right.
He lives somewhere different. And the place they moved to, Sherry Moon was on the news because they were complaining about the skateboarders at the skate park that was in the neighborhood making too much noise. And I'm like, really?
Crazy.
Sold out. He sold out.
They moved into like an old people's like neighborhood or something, so they weren't ever bothered. And I guess it backfired on them.
Says here Rob Zombie's net worth is between 40 and 50 million. So what the fuck?
Yeah, he should make that shit easy.
Yeah. Make
it as low budget as possible, like fucking because House of a Thousand Corpses didn't look like they had much of a budget.
Yeah, he hates that movie.
But I mean, they pulled it off. It looked good.
Oh yeah, like I enjoy it.
And Devils probably didn't have much of a budget either. Like the most budget he has is picking up the cameo actors and shit.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure like fucking Mosley and them would do the shit for free. Like I'm sure he doesn't pay his wife. Like
I'd say he probably pays her a lot.
I mean, she's in every fucking movie. I would hope not.
Well, I mean, they're married.
That's his biggest downfall too, is putting her in that. But anyway, we're getting off topic. We're bitching about Rob Zombie for some reason.
Well, I mean, Late Night with the Devil. Late Night with the Devil only had like a $1.1 million budget. Like if I have 40 or 50 mil chilling, I'll throw down a couple million on a fucking movie I want to make. Like hell yeah. Bet on yourself, 100%. Man. Don't
I agree.
Fuck all these studios. I don't give a fuck if they put my shit out.
There you go, Rob. Make a movie yourself. You won't get any restrictions.
Put it on YouTube. Fucking who gives a fuck? Have fun.
There's so many movies that of his I wouldn't mind seeing him remake. But I would like to actually.
That's why that Monster shit was such garbage because he had to fucking so many restrictions. Well, that and he went with the wrong timeline of the Monsters, in my opinion. But
I mean, I liked it. I thought it was good. Like, I thought it was pretty true to the show.
I haven't watched it since we did it.
Yeah, I mean, I've watched it, but I mean,
is there anybody that has gone back and remade their own shit that you can think of?
Yeah,
again,
Eli Roth made Cabin Fever twice.
Did he?
I mean, Sam Raimi, I guess you could have that argument with Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2.
Yeah, but like usually when you remake a movie, it's to make something different about it. Eli Roth made the same fucking movie. Like,
Did he?
I didn't
even
beef it up.
it wasn't. It's just like the original, like the Omen remake. It was the same fucking movie. The only thing different about it was, like, besides the obvious actors, but like instead of small caliber weapons and stuff, it was high powered, like, firearms and shit pouring out the dad at the end of it.
Oh no, Eli Roth didn't remake Cabin Fever.
Yeah,
he was in it. It says here that Travis Zerini was the director on Cabin Fever 2006.
Not going to work here anymore anyway. I don't know.
Did he have anything else to do on it? Because I thought he was the one that remade it.
He was in it, like
Well,
as a cast member, but he didn't direct it. He probably was some type of producer in the background, but it's not like he
had to have been a producer.
I'm going to redirect my film and make it.
Okay, then my mistake on that. But why would you be okay? Like, I wouldn't want to put out the same fucking movie. Like, help the same. Okay, I already made this. Like, so that makes it even fucking worse. He was in it. He was okay.
Weird acting in a remake of a movie you made.
Like, why? There's no point. But regardless if he made it or not, it's like, if you're going to remake a movie, then put your own spin on it or something. Don't make the exact same film, and that's pretty much what some of these fucking movies do. And
that's what I'm saying. Like if Rob Zombie felt like he was handcuffed by the studios and had to do things that he didn't want to do and put in things that he didn't want, and he's like, no, I want to make this movie the way I intended to. Like, there's things that are the same, but there's things that are different, and I'm going to redirect it, and it's going to be a re-release, like a reimagining or whatever. This is like the real director's cut of what it should have been.
Yeah.
Right. It's called the zombie cut, kind of like the Snyder cut.
Zombie. All right, Poltergeist. What happened?
Some ghosts showed up and people didn't die.
Yeah, nobody dies.
This movie's ready.
Any last words for the Poltergeist?
Great flick, man. It's one of those introductory ones that where you could, if you have a younger child and you want to introduce them to kind of horror or scary stuff, you could show it. I mean, there's a couple things, like we said, with the face getting ripped off and all that. That's a little strong, depending on how old the kid is.
Yeah, but I think that'd be all right.
It's mild compared to a lot of shit these days.
Right, definitely. So it's definitely one
Holocaust or anything.
Definitely one you could introduce a younger kid to and not have to worry about them getting fucked up for life. And like I said, the practical effects are great. The cast does a great job in this. There's not too much I can nitpick over. Little things like the cuts. I think I remember talking about this on Boondock Saints, where some of the cuts just seem awkward, where it goes from one scene to the next. I think those are the only things that I'm like, whoa, that was a weird cut. I don't know why they did that. But that's just my new nitpicky shit. Other than that, I think it looks good. I think it flows good, and creepy, scary, and everybody does a great job. So definitely a classic, and I recommend it.
Yeah, it's entertaining throughout the whole film. I mean, you're not bored the whole time, So I definitely say, like, the first two, at least give them a watch, and the remake wasn't bad. So
if you have time, watch part 3 so you can just be like, what the fuck? But
yeah, watch it. It's good for a watch. But watch out for that Tom Skerritt guy.
Yeah. What the fuck? So you heard it here. If you ever get a chance and you haven't seen it yet, which if you haven't, I don't know why you're watching this, but go back, check it out. We highly recommend. Fun little movie. Nobody really dies at the end. Can't really say that about many weird type horror movies like this.
Yeah.
They get weirder as they go.
Yeah.
See a little more each time. As usual, we have up the video generator.
Can we just go to the random clip, please? I don't know what's going on.
We have the random clip of the week video generated. Let's see what we got. Are we ready?
No, I just want to make a comment that Mike kind of looks like that guy that's left behind in the bathroom at the Walmart, and the lights are messed up, and there's no one to make them stop, so he's going to go slowly insane while trying to drop a deuce.
If I was in his house right now, I'd be freaking out because I'm epileptic.
Go into the light. Go into the light, Nasty Ann. Go into the light.
Random clip. What do we got? Nothing.
What the
Torgo.
hell?
Just fucking play that music over. and
However,
over.
we'll stay tonight, and then tomorrow
You must be. You cannot stay. The master would not approve.
I want to fucking write a hip hop song with this beat. Yeah, the master would not approve this bullshit. Fuck this clip. It can suck a dick.
Fucking Torgo from Manos, The Hands of Fate.
No, Torgo.
That was horrible.
So good. It's even better whenever Mystery Science Theater did it. We used to watch that
I'm
shit all
sure.
the time. We watched that shit so often.
Those were the days.
Those were the days. All right, so what we got going on in your world, Charles? Oh shit, my bad.
Here's a clip. Here's a clip what Charles has going on.
You know him from Nasty Nation, Graveyard Talk, and the Video Store Clerks Podcast. He is the creator of Stoner Gore, Chuck Nasty.
Wow.
And if you have a craving for extreme horror, the following titles may interest you. Thirsty, Sludge, House of Flesh, Going to Hell, Fresh Kills.
And erotic gore.
All available now
Yes,
in
and erotic.
Kindle and paperback, only at Amazon.com.
Well, Chuck Nasty presents erotic gore. Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
And thanks again for making that, guys. I like that.
Of course. We just
What else
we,
you got
just-
going on? Chuck?
we got tired of hearing you talk, so we want to just throw a commercial.
My band, Bastard Sons of Jesus Goat, is actually playing at Legends in Cincinnati on Friday.
Nice. On Friday.
Oh, yeah.
We're playing with oh god, I'm drawing a blank on the bands we're playing with, but it's our first time playing in Ohio, and
Shitty Beatles.
we're looking forward to it. No, it's Dead Man Walking or something like that, and then
Good man walk.
Undertaker.
some hardcore bands and stuff like so. Should
Where
be
you
good.
playing?
Should be a good time. A place called Legends in
Legends.
Cincy.
I was gonna say,
Around the Cincy area.
I remember always going up to Bogart's for shows in Cincinnati.
It'd be cool to play Bogarts. I've seen a bunch of shows there.
Yeah.
But and then, well, of course, in September 6th and 7th, I'll be at TBR Con in Knoxville,
There you go.
sharing a table with author Keisto Healy. So if you ain't doing anything then, that's right. Mark your calendars, bitches.
All you Tennessee folk,
Oh,
hop
you
on-
peoples.
hop on out and see Chuck Nasty.
Yeah,
It's the week before the next Friday the 13th.
true.
I might have to get that day off work.
Hell yeah.
Well, that about wraps it up for this special Monday edition of
The special Monday.
The
And
video-
next week we'll be back live on Tuesday.
Mondays.
So we'll be back Tuesday next week at 10 p.m. with
What's going on?
well, we're gonna have a cruel summer.
Oh, are
We're gonna have the Karate Kid next week. Chuck's favorite. He requested to do this. I can't wait.
Oh shit! Wax on, wax off.
Wax on, wax off next week.
Chuck, are
Karate
you,
Kid.
Chuck,
I
are
might
you
be,
sick?
I might be
Are you-
waxing off instead of being on the show.
I was going to say that little stomach bug.
Yeah, it's already coming on now. It's gonna.
It'll be
But as
interesting.
for us,
It'll be interesting. Before we go, I just say it'll be interesting because Chuck's talked shit about Karate Kid for a while now, and how he's not a big fan. So now it's going to give you that opportunity to go back and watch it and see if it actually fucking holds up.
Go
Or
back and relive
if-
my
me,
childhood.
me and Dave's been trying to get Chuck to redo this and watch this movie for like a year.
So yeah, that's the cool part about this is we go back and watch these films that we saw years ago and see how they are years later. So it'll be interesting to see if Chuck has turned the corner on his opinion of Karate Kid, or if he's going to talk massive shit about it. Tune in and find out.
I feel like he's gonna like Ralph Macchio. But we are your clerks. I'm Chad Mang.
I'm Mangina with a soft G.
Chuck Nasty.
We shall see you next Tuesday for the Karate Kid. As for now, the store is clear.
Yes.